Hi there. I am so excited to be talking with you today, and thank you, Lisa, for giving me this opportunity. I wanted this conference and empowering women. That's my passion. That's so important to me because I have really struggled in my life and I've now come through it. And that's where I want to be here today is help you get through anything that you're going through. So I'm Karen Schaible and I'm a weight loss coach for nurses, but I work with any other women out there. Any woman that is so done with struggling with losing weight because it's not about the food. Like if you've done all the diets, it's not about the food. It's about what's going on that's sabotaging you. I know it. I struggled for 30 plus years with trying to lose weight and with the food and with just everything. I was talking with Lisa earlier, like I was so consumed with food and my weight for 30 plus years. And 12 years ago, I lost 100 pounds. So my story is that about age 8, that's as far back as I can remember, my dad was quite a strict person, a strict man. And, children were seen but not heard. And I'm a strong-willed person and just a compassionate person. And, there were many times where he was really harsh on my mom, not physically, mentally. And I would step in. And that to him was talking back. And so I got physically reprimanded and it was pretty extreme. And from that place, then my mom, she would sit back and watch and feel sorry for me and feel bad. And how she showed her love to me was baking, was food. She was a great baker, a great cook. And so to help me feel better, to take away some of the pain, she would give me food and comfort me with food. So that's where my emotional eating started and where my beliefs about myself started about I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me. And then that just kept feeding throughout the years. But that was sort of where it all started. And so that's my journey of 30 plus years of struggling. So as I was growing up, I was the heaviest child in school. I was bullied from like elementary till high school. And I remember it so much that I really spent most of my time keeping to myself, not having many friends, because I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough, that there was something wrong with me. I had no self-confidence, no self-esteem. And so I was spiraling and spiraling. And so I went to nursing school. Oh, sorry. In grade 12, when I was 17, that was when I started my first diet. I was like, I'm going to lose this weight. I am done feeling terrible. I want to be happy in my life. And so at 17, I went on this very strict diet and exercising program, lost 50 pounds in 6 weeks, thought I would be happy. Nothing changed because our circumstance doesn't make us happy. It's what's inside of us. So that was the start of my yo-yo dieting lifestyle. And so at 21, I had graduated from nursing school. I met this guy. A year later, we got married. And, I remember getting married not because it was the right person for me. I got married because I didn't think anybody else would ever love me or I would ever find anybody else that would want me. And all I wanted in life was to be married with children. So I got married. And I didn't listen to my gut. There were a lot of red flags, but because I had so low, I saw myself at such a low level, I couldn't take the action of listening to that. So I had my first child at 25. That's where I had I got postpartum depression. And from that point on, I was married 22 years. I had 3 children. And my marriage was very unhealthy. It was just mentally not healthy for me. And also I didn't know how to deal with it either. So I just kept spiraling. I got depressed. I was on medications, lots, anxious, had panic attacks. I gave to everybody. I was a nurse, I was a mom, I was a wife, I was a friend, I was, all of that. And I gave and I gave and I gave to everybody because I had I didn't think I should give to myself. I believed I should give to everybody else. I did everything for everybody else. I was so stressed. I was so busy. I was so busy. And I just remember those years of just feeling so alone, like there's something wrong with me, that I can't lose this weight, I can't be happy, I hated what I looked like, I beat myself up for so long, like self-loathing, and I believe that you have to do that to get yourself to do something, but that's not true. It actually works the opposite. So for 22 years of that marriage, I just kept spiraling down and down and down. And at 42, that's when I hit a rock bottom. I was mentally not well at all. Like I said, I was so depressed and anxious and overwhelmed and stressed, and like I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. And I ate, like I emotionally ate like you wouldn't believe. I binge ate. Like I was in myself. I was like, I had these children. I wanted to be there for them, but yet I was like consumed inside myself. Food and weight and everything was just full consuming me. And I didn't understand why I couldn't enjoy my children, spending time with them and enjoying them. Because how do you enjoy when you're locked in this? I felt like in a prison. So at 42, I ended up becoming physically unwell. And that was the rock bottom. I was doing everything possible to go to work, but that was all I could do. The rest, I literally holed myself up in my room and just literally tried to do cooking for the kids, try to go take them out, but I just didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. And in that moment, I remember not wanting to live anymore because I'm like, I can't live like this. I am so unhappy. I can't do this anymore. But I'm grateful for that moment because that was the moment where I had to make a choice. Which road do I want to go down? And I chose the path of I need to be there for my children. My whole life was my children, is my children and grandchildren now. How could I ever do that to them? That was where my head was. I can't do that to them. So I need to do something else. And that was where my whole life changed. And I'm so grateful for it. I was like I said, I was a mess. I was burnt out. I was a mess. But in that moment, I said, I am going to find something different. I stopped the dieting. I stopped beating myself up. And I just chose a different route. I found an exercise program, a running program, and I never liked exercise. Like if I had to force myself to go to the gym, I did not like exercise, but I decided I was going to do something for myself because that was one of the things. Growing up, I was taught by my mom. My mom's a strong will. She does it all. So I believe that I was never supposed to look after myself and do anything for myself. That's selfish. But look at where it got me. I was selfish by not looking after myself because I couldn't be there for my children. So it was time to start looking after myself. So I took up this running program, and part of it is they trained you, they coached you to run, and then you ran these races and raised money for a charity. So I did that, and I ran a 10K, finished in the middle of the pack, and I was elated. Like I finally did something for myself and felt so good. And that's where then the next step was I found a group coaching program. It wasn't for weight loss. It was for working on what's going on in your life that's sabotaging you, that's pulling you down in your life. It was all those beliefs that I was talking to you about before, the beliefs that I thought were so true about myself. I am not lovable and I'm not good enough and nobody will ever like me and there's something wrong with me and I'm so broken. And those beliefs came from my childhood growing up. Things that I heard from my parents, from the teachers, from friends, from relatives, from anybody, from society. And I took them on as myself and that there was like my beliefs, but they were somebody else's, not mine, but I took them on as true. So in this program, I worked on all of that. I worked on my mind, and that just changed my world. I remember this one guy, gentleman, he was going through it when I went through it. And it's a 3-phase program. At the end of the second phase, I remember him telling me, Karen, you walked in the first day as a wallflower. I didn't even know you were really there. And now you're such a confident, strong woman. And that made me just believe in myself again and believe that I am worthy and I am capable of having a life I dream of. So from that place, because I finally had confidence in myself, I knew this marriage that I, for 2 years, put every effort in trying to make better wasn't going to work. And so I asked for a divorce, and that place, it just shifted even more. And at that point, I had lost 100 pounds. And I didn't lose the 100 pounds from dieting. I lost it from working on this mental stuff, because it was the emotional eating that was sabotaging my weight loss. I didn't know how to cope with all this negative inside of me, all this pain and suffering. I used food to help me cope, help me feel better. It was my friend. So that's where how I get to this point. So I was nursing. I worked at the bariatric clinic, the last place, and I watched people go through the same thing I was, having the surgery, but still emotionally eating and gaining the weight back. So I decided leave nursing and follow my passion. So that's why I'm here today, is because now I want to teach you how to shift things in your life, how to end this emotional eating. Because once you learn how to do that, like, it's freedom, effortless weight loss, effortless living. When you're not consumed, spending all this brain space thinking about food, focusing on food, all of that, and just living, life is just like amazing. So what I want to show you is how I did it. This is the process that I use to lose 100 pounds, and what I use for the weight loss, for relationships with my children, because my children relationships are phenomenal, because I use this. I'm remarried and I use it in my relationship, and it is working on the emotional eating. And so it is thoughts, feelings, do line. So TFD, our thoughts, we have thoughts that are created. So we have a situation, and the situation is neutral, but we have thoughts that come up. They're our thoughts. We believe them to be true, but they're just our thoughts. And those thoughts create our feelings, and those feelings are actually vibrations in our body. The thought we have that creates the feeling, the thought sends signals in our body. That's the sensation going on. When you have a feeling, you got the sensation. And it's the sensation that we are trying to get away from when we eat, when we go over drink, when we overspend, when we're scrolling social media. We are doing that to numb out, avoid, or distract ourselves from how we're feeling. And remember, it's only a feeling in our body. So one of the things when I first start working with my clients on, I don't start on the thought line, because we are so stuck in our head. We can't even see what's going on in our head. We have about 60,000 plus thoughts a day going on in our head. And 90% of them are running in the background. So they're really hard for us to catch on. Like, they're going on all the time, but because they're so subconscious, you're not paying attention to them. They're just running. Like, think about when you brush your teeth, you don't lift up a toothbrush and go, okay, I've got to brush this right side, got to brush left side. It's automatic. You're on automatic pilot because you've thought about it so many times. You don't even have to think about it anymore. That's the same with a lot of our thoughts that are causing the self-sabotage in our life. They are there running in the background. I'm not good enough. This is too hard. I don't deserve this. All of those, because you've thought them for so long, they're just running on autopilot. So let's start with feelings. So remember, a feeling is just a vibration in our body. And if it's a vibration in our body, it can't hurt you. It may not feel good, but it can't hurt you. And a lot of the times when I tell my clients this, they're like, no, 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 like, no way, like, that's not true. But as we work through this process, they really see that. So, one of the things when you find yourself in something's happening in your life, you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, sad, lonely, bored, even happy, it doesn't matter. I want you in that moment to like stop in that moment. And why I want you to stop in that moment is because I want you to like pay attention to what is it you're feeling. And I want you to name it. And one of the things I want you to be very mindful of is a lot of times it's negative. And the reason why we end up turning to food or whatever to make it go away is because we think we shouldn't have those negative feelings. We shouldn't be stressed. We shouldn't be bored. We shouldn't be lonely. We shouldn't be upset. We shouldn't be sad. But we have feelings, and we have positive feelings and we have negative feelings. And what I believed growing up is you're not supposed to have negative feelings. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, if I cried, I was upset and I cried, I heard, oh, don't cry. It's all okay. So our feelings were brushed away under the rug, or don't be upset. It will all work out. Or don't be sad. And so we never were allowed to have negative feelings. But what I want you to know is you have to have 50% positive and 50% negative feelings. And what I mean by that is if you are sad, if you were never sad, if you always had happy feelings, you would never know sadness, right? But if you don't know sadness, you won't even know you're happy. So you have to have the alternative to know when you're happy, and the sadness to know, hey, this is happy, this is sad. So you really need to allow any and all feelings to be there. So that is the first one, the first step when it comes to those feelings, is allowing that negative feeling to be there. Don't make it wrong or bad, because when we make it wrong or bad, that's what leads us to go eat. And when you go overeat, I'm talking about not eating a bit, when you overeat, let's say you're trying to lose weight and you overeat, and then you've overeaten, you feel not great about overeating, and you still have that feeling. You still have that feeling going on because the thought is still there. So you've compounded your pain and suffering. But if we allow the negative to be there in the beginning, we won't compound it. So how you allow that feeling to be there is I'm just watching the time, you just feel it in your body. Set a timer, start with 1 minute. Feel it in your body. Allow it to be there in your body. Because when you allow it, yes, it's tight. Yes, you feel like you're going to die from that feeling, but it will release. It won't stay there forever, because remember, it's just a vibration, a sensation in your body. So allow it to be there. Figure out, how does it feel in my body? We're so disconnected. I didn't feel. I was all in my head. So this took a lot of practice. You start at like 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and you keep practicing and practicing. When you are allowing your feelings to be there, the discomfort actually then goes away. You don't need food to make that discomfort go away. The next step is really paying attention to your thoughts. And this is a really big one for like a lot of my clients, because like I was saying, they're running on autopilot in the background. And like I had a ton of not great thoughts going on in my head. I really had no compassion for myself. No care, really. I cared, but I didn't care. Let's beat Karen up in my head because let's make her do that. She's not good enough. All of those thoughts. Or even when it came to like when I was at work, all those thoughts too, and my expectation thoughts, well, they should know better, they should be doing this shouldn't be happening. Those thoughts are always going to cause pain and suffering in us. And what I want you to be aware of is those thoughts may feel true and real to you, but if they bring on a feeling, then they are just your thoughts. It is not the situation. So that's why when, like in nursing, so many nurses are stressed out because of the workload. But what you need to really pay attention to is there are some that are stressed out and some that aren't. The ones that aren't have a different thought. It's still the same circumstance. And this, you really have to start paying attention, because this will help you go, what do I have control over? That thought, is it helping me? What else can I think? What else perspective shift can I add into there? What can I control? I can't control this, but I sure can control that. So really finding those thoughts. And how you do that is journaling. Get like pen and paper out. Journal every single morning. Just brain dump all the thoughts going on in your head, because if you're not aware of them, you're never going to be able to shift them. And you can't just stop thinking it. You have to give yourself baby steps. Like think something just a little bit different and feel the different feeling in your body. That's how you get through any situation, is by feeling feelings, paying attention to your thoughts, and then shifting your thoughts to something better. And it's practicing the new thought and practicing. And as you keep practicing, then that becomes your habit thought. Because remember, your habit thoughts right now aren't working for you. They're not feeling very good for you. So that is how we end up ending emotional eating. You can't, so many people when it comes to life, like, oh, just stop thinking that way. Oh, just feel better. Oh, just pull up your socks and get moving. Oh, just get more willpower. Well, guess what? You can only have so much willpower in life, and then it ends. Willpower is like holding a beach ball underwater. And how long can you hold that beach ball underwater before it pops up? But if you work on your thoughts and feelings that drive your action, that's how you change what's going on in your life. That's how I ended my depression. Like I was depressed for since I had my first child till 42. So from 25 to 42, I realized I didn't have chemical depression. I had mental depression. It was all the thoughts going on in my head. Like I was in that BS cycle, the emotional draining cycle. Well, no wonder I was so depressed. No wonder I was so anxious. I was so locked in those thoughts. I couldn't see any way out. So when I did all this work, my life, yes, I lost 100 pounds, but my whole life, like I'm able to enjoy my job and my life because of this. This, like, I'm happy now. I'm happy because of how I shifted things inside my head. And I keep doing it. This is a practice I do every day. You just don't do it once or twice and shift it and go, okay, it's all good. I use this in my business because we always have thoughts. And so I use this every single day. But this is how I came to the place of happiness, true happiness, loving my body, loving who I am. It's not what you see on the outside that has me loving myself and happy who I am. It is what I think and what I focus on every day, like being grateful, because what we think every day, like what we think that's what our brain is focused on. And the more we're focused on negative, the more we're going to see negative. What you focus on expands. So that's why focusing on being grateful, being thankful, caring for ourselves, having self-compassion for ourselves, that is how we get to the place of effortless eating, of effortless living, of living that life that you've dreamed of. And I know that's where I'm at. And that's what my wish is for you. My passion, this is my passion, because I've struggled way too long. I wish I knew this way before. I missed out so much when my children were young because I was unhappy. And when that unhappiness was inside of me, I really struggled with like enjoying being with them. Yes, I was there, but I wasn't mentally there. I was so consumed with everything going on inside me. So I'm hoping this helps you. I have a free video on my website. My website is KarenSchaible.com. And you can go there, and the video talks a lot about this. It really goes over a lot of what I'm talking about now, how to end that busy, that stress, so you can get to the place of where you want to go. And then once you watch that video, you will get a PDF. That PDF will give you a lot of journal prompts. It will show you how to do the journaling, how to do this processing, because it really is about a process. It's about a journey. And if you're wanting to, be happy in your life or lose weight or find another job or make your marriage the best it is, don't focus on a point and a place I have to get there, because it's always, you'll never, if you focus on one specific goal, then it just gets disappointing for you. But what I want you to focus on, it's not just the goal you want to hit, it's the journey, because a goal always sort of moves on and changes. But if you can view all of this as a journey, that it's always in a work in progress, that really is like where the magic happens. And that's what I do every day. I keep my weight off. It's been 12 years. I enjoy everything that's happening to me. And it's all because I did end this emotionally draining cycle. So I know if I can do it, you can too, because I'm no special unicorn. Like I said, I thought I was the only one going through this. I thought that I was broken and there was something wrong with me. But I want you to know you're not alone. I was there. There are many other women are there. And that's why we need to come together and support one another and speak up about this, because that is how everything shifts in our life and in your life. So thank you so much for letting me be part of this conference. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. And please go download my freebie off my website, because I do believe it really will help. So thank you.